Speaker, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen of this august chamber, it is my honor and responsibility to sponsor and defend before this body the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget of the Office of the President of the Philippines, amounting to 27.362 billion. The Office of the President is the nerve center of our government. It ensures the coordination of all departments, agencies, and instrumentalities of the executive branch. It provides the President the necessary resources to fulfill the constitutional mandate of faithfully executing the laws, formulating national policies, and addressing urgent challenges that confront the Filipino people. The proposed budget reflects both continuity and foresight. The largest component of the increase is in the maintenance and other operating expense, which rose from 13 billion in fiscal year 2025 to 24.82 billion in fiscal year 2026. This primarily to fund the Philippine hosting of the ASEAN summits and related meetings in 2026, a matter of both national pride and strategic importance. Hosting ASEAN positions our country at the forefront of regional diplomacy, economic cooperation, and security dialogue. Personnel services increased by 36.88%, driven by the creation of new positions under specialized offices such as the Office of the Special Assistant of the President for Investment and Economic Affairs, the ASEAN Office of the Director General for Operations, and the Office of the Presidential Advisor for Marawi Rehabilitation and Development. These expansions reflect the growing demands of the Presidency to oversee investments, promotion, post-conflict rehabilitation, and international engagement. Capital outlay decreased by 54%. I repeat, decreased by 54% as the focus in fiscal year 2026 shifts away from infrastructure toward operational requirements, particularly those linked to ASEAN hosting. This demonstrates fiscal discipline and a sharper prioritization of resources. The increase of 11.46 billion or 72% compared to 2025 fiscal year is not merely an expansion of expenditure, it is an investment in governance, international credibility, and national preparedness. The hosting of ASEAN will require us to ensure security, logistics, technology, and protocol at the highest level. The strengthening of the OP's organizational capacity ensures that the President can respond effectively to both domestic needs and global responsibilities. Every peso allocated supports the delivery of timely decisions, sound policy direction, and decisive action from the highest office of the land. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, the budget is not for the President alone. It is for the Filipino people, whose welfare, security, and future depends on a strong and responsive presidency. I respectfully urge this chamber to give its full support to the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget of the Office of the President By doing so, we affirm our shared commitment to effective governance, international leadership, and the advancement of our nation. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. And this representation is ready to answer questions from our colleagues.
Maraming salamat sa Senior Vice Chair, Representative Garcia. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Antonio Tino of the ACT Teachers Party List for his interpellation.
ACT Teacher Party List, Representative Antonio L. Tino. You're recognized, sir. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to the sponsor.
Magandang umaga po, Mr. Speaker.
Magandang umaga. Ang unang mga tanong ko po ay kaugnay sa confidential and intelligence funds ng Office of the President. Well, historically, kung titignan po natin ang confidential and intelligence funds ng OP, ay talagang lumaki po ng ilang beses, lumobo, sabihin natin. Before, in 2015 and earlier, ay mas mababa po by several times ang laki ng confidential and intelligence funds. So, the figures I have are from 2015 onwards, pero kung babalikan pa natin, mas similar po yung pattern, no? So, in 2015, the Office of the President's Confidential Fund was 250 million, and the Intelligence Fund was 250 million as well. No, same is true for 2016. And then from 2017 to 2019, from 2017 to 2019, nung una pong umupo si Pangulong Duterte, yung 250 million naging 1.25 billion, no? So this is a five-fold increase. Same goes with the intelligence funds. And then from 2020 to 2022, the last year of the office of the President Duterte, of President Duterte, the 1.25 billion was raised further to 2.25 billion for confidential funds. Same with the intelligence funds of the office of the President. Does the sponsor confirm these figures?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, thank you. And then when the new president came in, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., sa halip na bumalik po sa dating kalakaran na nasa 250 million ang confidential and as well as 250 rin for intelligence funds, and thus prove that the Duterte administration's use of confidential and intelligence funds was an aberration. Instead, pinagpatuloy po ng Marcos Jr. administration. So, from 2022 to the present, yung confidential funds po ng Office of the President remained at the Duterte level, 2.25 billion. In the case of intelligence funds, in 2022, it stood at 2.25 billion. But we must remember that the 2022 budget was still the budget proposed by the former president, no? However, from the first budget of the Marcos Jr. administration's presidency, the 2023 budget, tinaasan pa po yung intelligence funds ng Office of the President, naging 2.310 billion from 2023 to even to the proposed 2026 budget. No? Does the sponsor confirm the accuracy of the figure cited?
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague, let me clarify.
Yes.
Since 2020, even in the past administration, umabot na po ng level ng 4 billion yung intelligence fund at hindi po nagbago substantially up to present. And the current administration never asked for any increase in its confidential fund for the office of the President. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague.
Umabot po sa 4 billion, 4.56 billion combined confidential and intelligence funds.
Tama po, Mr. Speaker, honorable
Okay.
colleague.
I was citing separate figures for confidential funds and intelligence funds. And, well, according to the figures I have, which are culled from the budget documents themselves, no, the GAA, the Office of the President under President Marcos Jr. did in fact ask for and get an increase because dati 2.25 billion lang po ang intelligence funds pero naging 2.310. So there was an increase of 250 plus 300, 560 million. 560 million in intelligence funds from 2023, and the same is being asked, the same level, 2.310, being asked in 2026.
If I may respond, Mr.
Yes.
Speaker, honorable colleague, yan po ay hindi ni-request ng Office of the President that was given during budget deliberations sa Senate po. At hindi po ito hiningi ng Office of the President,
Okay.
Mr. Speaker.
So, marahil ganun nga, no? Dahil if we remember, the increase here happened in 2023. Okay, perhaps that happened. Nevertheless, now it has been adopted by the office. That increased level has been adopted by the Office of the President in the NEP. No? Okay. Now, the first observation we'd like to make is that, as we know, confidential and intelligence funds are released to the office in cash. Does the sponsor confirm that? Cash po, tinatanggap.
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague.
And this cash is disbursed quarterly. No? So, yung, halimbawa, confidential funds for 1 quarter in 2024, no? Because this is the one where we have complete figures, 1 quarterly disbursement would be 562.5 million pesos for confidential funds and 600 million pesos for intelligence funds. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague.
Okay, so sa isang quarter, ganun po, total of 1.162 billion pesos ang tinatanggap ng Office of the President in cash, no? Presumably, tanong lang po, curious lang, meron naman sigurong vault. Meron kayang vault ang Malacanang para itago ang 1 billion, mahigit 1.1 billion in cash, no?
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague, ito po ay over the quarter, that is 3 months.
Yes.
At ito po ay dumadaan sa proseso ng COA.
Yes.
So hindi po ito nakukuha in bulk dahil nililiquidate lang po or dinodraw lang po ng Office of the President per quarter. So 3 months, that's 90 days, dyan po ginagamit. So
Yes,
hindi po ito
we
bulto.
understand. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague.
Sige po. Okay, we will not belabor the point. Anyway, the point is in 1 quarter, we're talking about 1.1 billion pesos in cash per quarter. And then the other observation is that according to the statement of ano nga ba to, disbursements and obligations and disbursements. I forget the exact acronym, parang SAOB, gano'n, ano? Ayon po sa dokumento na yan ng Office of the President, the funds are released, quarterly in the mentioned amounts earlier, and the disbursement, the reported disbursement of the Office of the President is exactly as released. No? So, ibig sabihin, nagagastos po lahat per quarter. Ni isang kusing ay walang natitira po, no, sa cash disbursements. No? Every single peso is spent. Does the sponsor confirm na quarterly, wala po ni isang butal, ni isang sentimo, ni isang piso na natitira? Ubus po lahat ito.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague, tama po yun. Efficient po ang pag-utilize ng Office of the President ng pondong ito.
Okay. So 100% utilization per quarter ang confidential and intelligence funds. Okay. This is unlike, ano po ba ang utilization ng Office of the President for its regular budget? No? Can we get the latest figures lang? Nakabuuan. For 2024 perhaps, because this is the most complete.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague, for 2024, percentage obligation over allotment is 78.20%. And percentage disbursement over obligation is 97.02%. Mr. Speaker, Honorable.
Thank you for that. So obligation is 78%, and then of the obligated 97% is disbursed.
Opo.
So ang point ko lang dito, Mr. Speaker, is for the whole budget, 78% lang po ang na-obligate sa buong taon. No? Tapos dun sa na-obligate, halos lahat naman ay nagastos sa actual. No? This is just to contrast with the confidential and intelligence funds. So pagka yung regular budget, medyo 78 is medyo not exactly great. No? We expect agencies to obligate over 90%. Diba? Yun ang gusto natin. So 78, so medyo mababa nga. No? Samantala, pagka confidential and intelligence funds, 100% ubus po. Okay, I'm just making that observation. No, na a similar observation was made regarding the Office of the Vice President and its use of confidential fund when it had confidential funds. No, so I'm just making that observation. Bakit pagka CIF, nako, ubos, ni isang sentimo walang natitira. Pero pagka yung regular budget, subject to the normal reporting and accounting procedures of COA, medyo mabagal tayo, 78%. Okay.
May I respond,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague?
Opo.
Alam naman po natin na yung regular budget, ang dami pong factors at marami rin pong components. May personal services, MOE, at capital outlay. Ang dami pong factors na pumapasok sa pag-obligate at pag-disburse nitong factors na ito. Kaya, considering these numbers, isa na po ito sa pinakamataas na obligation rate at disbursement sa executive offices or agencies, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague. Marami pong factors ang pumapasok dito, and many things come into play. And that is the reason why for this rate of obligation and disbursement, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague.
I agree, marami talagang factors, including pagka-regular budget, mas mahigpit po ang overall ang mga procedures required, including, for example, observance of the procurement law when procurement is necessary. Babalikan po natin yung punto na yun. Pero Tanong po, unprecedented po ang laki ng confidential and intelligence funds ng Office of the President. Why do I say unprecedented? Because it is even bigger than the already very high confidential and intelligence funds of the former President, Duterte. No, si Duterte ang nagpasimuno. Pinalobo niya talaga yung confidential and intelligence funds. Pero si Pangulong Marcos Jr., tinaasan pa. Sabi kanina, Senado yung, or, you know, it was the Congress that added. Pero pinagpapatuloy po ito ngayon. Tanong po, without divulging any state secrets, saan po ba ginagamit yung ganito kalaki, 4 billion plus in confidential and intelligence funds? Siyempre gusto pong malaman ng taong bayan, saan ba ginagamit yan?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleague, these are very sensitive information, but siguro para lang masagot yung tanong ng ating kasama, si Honorable Tino, ito po yung ginagamit sa pagko-conduct ng Presidential Situation Room, National AML EFT Coordinating Committee, or NACC, National Cybersecurity Interagency Committee, People's Center on Transnational Crime, PSTC, and Anti-Terrorism Council, Project Management Center, National Maritime Center, Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, so, and the like po, Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleague. Yan po yung mga ginagalawan ng ating Office of the President.
Okay. Thank you for that information. Sana po mabigyan tayo ng kompletong, kahit ganun lang, okay na po yun. No? Yung paglista ng mga opisina in the previous administration, pinaliwanag na after persistent demands for the Office of the President to explain saan ba ginagamit itong napakalaking confidential intelligence funds. The previous administration said ginagamit sa Philippine Center on Transnational Crime. Hanggang ngayon ba ginagamit pa yan? Presidential Commission on Visiting Forces Agreement, the National Coast Watch System, the Presidential Situation Room. No? Yun po, yung mga 4 na opisina. Kayo po, may mga nadagdag pa. May mga nabanggit kayo that were not mentioned under the previous administration. So, if we may request a more complete listing of these offices, no? Ngayon,
Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleague, may I respond?
yes.
Yes, ito pong intelligence and confidential funds ay regularly po nagsasubmit ng report sa Office of the Speaker and the Senate President, at lahat po ito dumadaan sa liquidation sa ating Commission on Audit. So everything is in order, Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleague.
Well, thank you for that. Ang concern lang po natin, okay, is practically the funding for all these offices and programs of the under the Office of the President are being run totally on confidential and intelligence funds, no? Inevitably, para mapatakbo mo po yung mga opisina at programang yan, ay kailangan nyo po at some point ng procurement. Would you agree? Siyempre, kailangan yan from the most basic supplies to consultancy services to perhaps if this involves IT, information technology, surely it does. Mga monitoring to ng maritime domain, ng other forms of surveillance requiring IT, inevitably kailangan po ng IT services. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Speaker.
At hindi naman in-house ang mga yan. No? The government has no such in-house capability. So, the question is, pagka confidential funds po ng confidential intelligence funds po ng Office of the President, sinusunod po ba ang procurement law?
Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleague, para sa mga bagay na yan, may regular budget po ang Office of the President para po sa mga nasabi nyo pong mga consultants, purchase of technology, and the like. May budget po yung regular budget ang Office of the President. Ito po ay talagang sumusunod sa ating regular procurement law, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague.
Okay. So the sponsor is giving the assurance that no procurements are made using confidential and intelligence funds. All procurements needed are made using the regular funds of the Office of the President. Ganun po ba yun, Mr. Speaker?
That is for use ng ating regular funds. Pero kung ito po sa confidential operations, dyan po ginagamit either CIF or yung ating confidential fund, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague.
Okay. So, yun na nga, does this involve pagkakailangan ng operasyon ng mga kagamitan or mga serbisyo ng outside or private sector agencies? Does this go through regular procurement?
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague, dumadaan po ito ayon sa batas, sa liquidation ng ating confidential and intelligence.
Okay, yan nga po ang point natin, no? So sa sagot po ng ating sponsor, for the regular budget, of course, kailangan na dumaan sa sundin ng procurement law, pero kapag confidential or intelligence operations, ang masusunod po ay ang DBM-COA Joint Circular on the use of confidential and intelligence funds. Is that correct?
Tama po yun, Mr.
Tama po
Speaker.
yun. So in effect, Mr. Speaker, ang punto po natin, the massive infusion of confidential and intelligence funds in the Office of the President creates a huge loophole, no? Ibig sabihin, these confidential and intelligence funds constitute, I think, roughly 1/3. Sorry po, mental math lang. Roughly 1/3 or more of the budget of the Office of the President. And yet, no, 4.5 billion or so of the budget is exempt, is practically exempt from observance of the procurement law. For example, no, hindi kailangang sumunod dahil lang tinawag na confidential and intelligence expenses. Kaya po ang punto natin, anomalya po ang nangyari mula nung panahon ni Pangulong Duterte kung saan pinalaki niya ng gusto ang confidential and intelligence funds, tapos pinagpatuloy at lalo pang pinalaki sa ilalim ng Marcos Jr. administration. No? So, dahil dito, ang tingin ng mga ahensya, including the Office of the President, well, pagka confidential intelligence funds yan, exempted tayo sa ibang mga batas, including, for example, the procurement law. Sundin lang natin yung joint circular. No? At nakita natin, with the investigation into the confidential funds of the Vice President, na kahit sabihin ino-audit ng COA, lumalabas po, hindi rin naman ganun kalalim yung audit ng COA. Basta tinanggap lang ng COA kung ano yung mga so-called resibo na binigay, including the notorious receipts for Mary Grace Piatos and the like. No? Kaya po, ang panawagan po natin, kaugnay sa confidential and intelligence funds, ay dapat po itigil na ang aberya at anomalyang ito. No? Of course, confidential and intelligence operations remain a part of state operations. Meron talagang ganon sa lahat ng gobyerno, pero hindi kailangan na ang 1/4, 1/3, or in some cases 1/2 of a budget's agency will be confidential and intelligence funds. No? So, yun na po sa punto niyan. I will proceed to another point. I don't know if the sponsor wishes to respond.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague, dapat po maintindihan nating lahat na iba po talaga ang anyo ng confidential and intelligence fund. Kaya dumadaan po ito sa ibang auditing procedure. Gusto ko lang pong sabihin na lahat po ito, aside from the reporting, regular reporting to the Speaker of the House and the Senate President, dumadaan po ito sa Commission on Audit at wala pong audit observation memo ang paggamit ng confidential and intelligence fund ang Office of the President. Thank you po, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague.
Thank you, sponsor. Now to my second line of questioning. This has to do with unprogrammed appropriations. No, una po ay nitong sa ilalim ng Marcos Jr. administration ay naging pambihira po ang pagtaas ng unprogrammed appropriations. No, in 2023, umabot po sa 807 billion pesos ang unprogrammed appropriations. In 2024, 731 billion, and in 2025, 363 billion pesos. Does the sponsor confirm these figures?
For 2025, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague, I think we have to adjust the number kasi ito po'y vinito o part of it ng unprogrammed appropriations ay vinito po ng ating Pangulo to the amount of 168.2 billion.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. May veto, so nabawasan po. Nevertheless, tama po dun sa 2023 and 2024. Okay. At dito po sa unprogrammed appropriations ay may malaking bahagi po na ni-release to DPWH for locally funded projects. No? Let me cite figures. In 2023 ay nag-release po ng 61.4 billion pesos in unprogrammed appropriations to the DPWH to fund 1,889 local projects, including flood control, road and bridges, and multipurpose buildings. And then in 2023, a staggering 153 billion pesos was released to fund 1,811 projects for a total funding of 3,700 local projects, flood control, roads, bridges, multipurpose buildings, worth 214.4 billion pesos. At ang katangian po ng unprogrammed appropriations, lump sum po lang yan na ina-approve ng Kongreso at executive branch na po ang magtutukoy kung paano gagamitin, anong mga programa ang aprubahan. Does the sponsor confirm the figures I cited?
Clarification lang po, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague, hindi po lump sum ang unprogrammed appropriations, one, and two, wala pong kinalaman ang Office of the President dito because it is within the jurisdiction of the requesting agency ng DBM at ng Bureau of Treasury. So ito po yung lahat nangyayari na walang kinalaman ang Office of the President, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Colleague.
Okay. First of all, you're correct. When we say unprogrammed appropriations, hindi po siya single lump sum. Rather, there are specific purposes, no, under unprogrammed appropriations. So meron for foreign assisted projects, yun yung isang malaki doon. Pero meron din doon for social infrastructure and social programs, for public infrastructure and social programs of government. Yung tinatawag na SIPAG. Doon na nasa ilalim noon, halimbawa, yung mga binabanggit kong infrastructure projects. Yun ang tinatawag din nating lump sum. No, kasi may isang linya lang, SIPAG, pero wala nang detalye. Wala nang line items. Okay. Now, as to the interesting statement made by our sponsor na wala raw kinalaman ang Office of the President. In fact, even the Executive Secretary, who I believe is present, made such a statement, no? When the former Undersecretary Bernardo of DPWH mentioned that the Office of the Executive Secretary was involved in deciding on projects, DPWH projects, to be funded from unprogrammed appropriations. Nabanggit po yung Office of the Executive Secretary, kaya nagsabi dito sa corruption scandal, no? Merong mga ibang proyekto na problematic na ngayon nalalaman natin funded pala from unprogrammed appropriations. So is that really the position of the sponsor, that the President has nothing to do with unprogrammed appropriations?
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Sponsor, may remind the kind
Yes.
gentleman from
Thank you.
list that your time has expired.
Yes, if I may wrap up,
sir.
If I may
Thank you.
continue.
Please answer, Mr. Sponsor.
Tama po yun, Honorable Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleague. As I've stated earlier, ayon po dun sa batas ng General Appropriations Act, ang may kinalaman lang po sa release ng unprogrammed appropriations is the DBM, the requesting agency, and the Bureau of Treasury. Wala pong kinalaman ang Office of the President. At yan po ayon sa batas na pinasa po ng Congress of the Philippines, House and Senate combined.
Mr. Speaker, my final
please wrap
statement.
up. Please wrap
Thank
up.
you. Ayon po sa batas na pinasa, tama kayo, sa General Appropriations Act, ay under the releases for the unprogrammed appropriations, ang sinasabi po ron that the funding from unprogrammed appropriations shall be released following a special budget request in accordance with Section 35 of Book 5 of the Administrative Code. Okay? And let me read Section 35 of the Administrative Code. Special budgets for lump sum appropriations. Expenditures from lump sum appropriations, which includes unprogrammed appropriations, authorized for any purpose for any department, office, or agency in any annual General Appropriations Act or other act, and from any fund of the national government, shall be made in accordance with a special budget to be approved by the President. No? So, malinaw po sa batas na tinutukoy rin at binabanggit mismo ng special provision ng General Appropriations Act na dapat daw sundin ito. No? Kaya tinatakda po ng ating Administrative Code any special budget request to access any of the lump sums, including unprogrammed appropriations, shall be approved by the President. Sa madaling sabi po, yung 3,700 additional local infrastructure projects, including flood control projects, na pinondohan from unprogrammed appropriations noong 2024, 2023, and 2024, bawat isa doon ay, yes, nag-submit ang DPWH ng special budget request. Dumaan ito sa DBM, but approval shall only come from the President. Kaya mali po yung sinabi ng Executive Secretary na wala siyang kinalaman sa unprogrammed appropriations dahil Presidente mismo ang nag-aproba nito, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, may accountability ang Presidente sa lahat ng mga proyekto niyan, including accountability para sa corruption na nalalantad ngayon kaugnay sa unprogrammed appropriations at sa flood control, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Sponsor, that will be the last question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Tino.
Briefly. Thank you.
Let me correct the notion that the unprogrammed appropriation is a lump sum fund. Chinek ko lang po sa ating Committee on Appropriations na hindi po lump sum fund ang ating unprogrammed appropriations, as I've stated earlier. Therefore, hindi na po dumadaan sa Office of the President. At dun po sa Senate, I believe, ni Honorable Tino na executive order, wala po doon nakalagay na unprogrammed appropriations.
Okay.
Kaya, again, I would like to clarify na itong unprogrammed appropriations ay hindi po talaga dumadaan sa Office of
Okay.
the President.
Final response, Mr.
Honorable
Speaker,
Tino.
a final response. Hindi raw lump sum appropriations.
Yes, please be, hold one moment.
Yes. So this
Please,
is,
please be brief.
yes,
Congressman
Mr.
Tino.
Speaker.
Your
So
time has expired.
this is the interesting line of defense of the Office of the President and the sponsor. Hindi raw lump sum fund ang unprogrammed appropriations. Belgica versus Ochoa, 2019. This is the second one. Hindi sa isa po kung ano yung mga special purpose funds discussed as lump sum funds, kasama po doon ang unprogrammed appropriations, Mr. Speaker. So kaya malinaw po na at pangalawa, hindi po executive order ang administrative code. Yes, it is EO 292, pero pinasa pa po yan habang may revolutionary powers pa po si President Aquino noon. Kaya batas po ito. No, kaya again, kung ano man ang paliwanag o intindi ng Office of the President, ay malinaw po na tinatakda sa batas na ang approval ng anumang paggamit ng lump sum funds, including unprogrammed appropriations, ay only with the approval of the President, and therefore, cargo niya ang 3,700 additional DPWH infrastructure projects, including flood control projects, na ngayon ay sangkot sa corruption na nalalantad, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Sponsor, please answer briefly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Para lang malinaw po, I would like to cite an example ng lump sum fund indicated in our General Appropriations Act. Ito po yung tinutukoy ni Honorable Tino, yung katulad ng contingency fund. It is a lump sum fund at yun po ay kinakailangan ng approval ng Office of the President. Pero again, for the unprogrammed appropriations, again, hindi po ito dumadaan sa Office of the President. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Maraming
Thank you,
salamat,
Honorable
Mr.
Tino.
Sponsor.